What if I told you that the truest form of worship is not found in rituals, not confined to temples, mosques, or churches, but in love itself? What if love is not just an emotion, but the very essence of the divine? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where identity has become louder than essence. We introduce ourselves through labels, religion, nationality, sect, belief, yet somewhere along the way, we have forgotten the one truth. The truth that existed before all labels were created. Love. Love does not ask your name. Love does not check your religion. Love does not divide, it unites. The great Sufi thinker, Ibn Arabi, offered a vision so vast that even today it challenges our understanding. He said his heart had become capable of every former temple, a church, a Kaaba. And then he declared something extraordinary. I follow the religion of love. Pause for a moment and reflect on that. A man deeply rooted in faith, yet beyond limitation. A man who understood that the divine cannot be imprisoned within human definitions. For Ibn Arabi, God was not something separate, distant, or exclusive. God was the very reality that reveals itself through love. And if God is love, then every act of true love becomes an act of worship. Not the kind of worship that is seen, but the kind that is felt. Not the kind that is performed, but the kind that transforms. When you forgive someone who hurt you, when you help someone without expecting recognition, when you choose compassion over judgment, when you stand for someone who is alone, when you listen not to reply but to understand, in those moments you are closer to the divine than any ritual alone could ever take you. But look at our world today. We have turned religion into identity, into argument, into division. We have built walls in the name of the one who created everything without walls. We claim to love God, yet struggle to love his creation. We pray, yet we judge. We worship, yet we divide. We speak of peace, yet we carry anger within. And this is where we must ask ourselves a difficult question. Can we truly claim to know God if we do not embody love? Ibn Arabi teaches us that God manifests in countless forms, in endless ways. Each human being is a reflection of that divine reality. To reject another person, to hate them, to see them as other, is to fail to recognize the divine. He spoke of a deeper reality, Wahdat al-Wujud, the unity of being, the idea that all existence is interconnected, that everything points back to the one. If that is true, then every face you see is a reflection. Every heart you encounter is a mirror. Every soul you meet is a doorway to the divine. And how we treat others becomes how we respond to God himself. This is not about abandoning religion. It is about going deeper into it, because at the core of every true spiritual path lies the same message: love more, judge less, see unity in diversity. Religion, in its purest form, is not meant to separate us, it is meant to refine us, to polish the heart until it reflects the divine light. But when love is removed from religion, what remains is only form without spirit. And form without spirit cannot transform hearts. Love, on the other hand, does not need translation. It is understood by a child and a sage alike. It speaks in silence, in actions, in presence. It is the thread that connects all of existence. It is the reason the sun rises without discrimination. It is the reason the earth provides for all without asking who is worthy. Love is not weak, and love is not passive. Love is courage. Love is sacrifice. Love is the strength to remain soft in a world that teaches you to harden. It is easy to love those who love you, easy to be kind when life is kind. But real love, divine love, is tested in difficulty. Can you love when you are hurt? Can you forgive when your ego demands revenge? Can you show mercy when you have the power to destroy? That is where love becomes sacred. That is where love becomes divine. And this is the love that Ibn Arabi invites us to discover. Not a love limited by emotion, but a love rooted in awareness. A love that sees beyond the surface, beyond differences, beyond illusions. A love that recognizes that we are not separate. We belong to the same origin, sustained by the same breath, returning to the same reality. So why do we divide what was never meant to be divided? Why do we hate in the name of the one who created love? Perhaps the problem is not religion itself, but our understanding of it. We have reduced something infinite into something narrow. We have taken something universal and made it exclusive. But the divine was never meant to be owned. The divine was meant to be experienced. And the closest experience of the divine is love. Imagine a world where we measured people not by belief, but by how deeply they love. A world where kindness is stronger than identity, where compassion is louder than difference, where humanity is united instead of divided. That world is not a dream, it is a choice. And it begins with you, with how you speak, how you think, how you treat others, because every moment is an opportunity to reflect the divine or to ignore it. So let us not limit the divine. Let us not confine love. Let us expand our hearts until they become capable of every form, a place where no one is excluded, a place where love is the only language, a place where the divine is not just believed in but lived. Because in the end, when all labels fade away, when all arguments fall silent, when everything external disappears, only one thing remains: love. And in that love, we do not just find peace, we find truth, we find unity, we find the divine itself.